Hello everyone, thank you for clicking this video. My name is MC Lux, and in this video we're going to talk about some kind of very controversial topic also, which is like relations between France and Algeria. So we've heard that nowadays these relations between these two countries have actually become more intense than in the past, because these diplomatic relations have been escalated, and we have to know the path of independence, everything from the history. And in this video I'm going to tell you not only analyzes my analysis and my own presumptions, but also how things happen from past, how things got evolved, and basically everything that we know about these relations. But actually, to be sincere, to tell you completely everything about relations, it's going to be a very big video, because it's quite impossible to say everything about these relations. But I'll tell you briefly the most important events, and the most important because in nowadays relations we have to know these other past relations to make some conclusions. So let's start. So first of all, let's talk about the news that I'm talking about, that Algeria has just now announced that it's gonna it's going to call its ambassador from Paris. It's also going to close its airspace, and also it's going to bar French aircraft arriving and actually entering its country. So let's understand why. So this was all about Macron comments and press conference, and we'll talk about what was the comment and actually how did everything start and how did the relations start between Algeria and France. So everything started from the history, from 18s and 19s, that the very important issue was a fly whisk on French consul. So that was about that Algiers were actually having a very controversial topic and a discussion with the French people about these debt. So these debt was all how French merchants were actually purchasing wheat from Algeria, and Algerians actually in Algiers considered this was some kind of debt from French people. And during this discussion, the ruler of Algiers, known as the Hussein Dey, he actually had a very a very serious argument with a French consul, and this argument actually converted into a very serious blockade. And when that happened, French people had a very serious intense relations with Algeria, and this serious intentions gradually converted to the desire to invade Algeria and the wars and basically everything. And in these process of colonization, the French colonization on Algeria, thousands and even millions of people basically from Algeria died because of the resistance for French colonization. So these days, a couple of weeks ago, Macron actually told in a press conference that he said that the history of Algeria was rewritten, and it was not based on truths, and that everything that was happening in Algeria was anti-French. And despite French apologizes and they're trying to have a better relations with them, they are still trying to be defiant, and they're still anti-French and anti-France. So we actually have to talk about this, that the other side, known as Algeria, just now came out and they said that this was initiative for their own decision to bar French aircraft from entering their space, and also many different issues. And they actually said that this comment from France was very not serious, and it was unforgetting. It was not actually paying attention, emphasizing to 5.63 million people dead in Algeria. And that was a very serious issue, which we have to mention. And not only about is this the issue, but also the French people are very afraid of the foreign policy of Algeria. So this is not all about colonization, and the reason why they're trying to claim that they're still the Algerians are still anti-France, but also we're talking about the fact that there's a foreign policy much developed in Algeria. So Algeria just now, despite the fact of colonization and their fight and resistance against the French people, we've seen that nowadays the relations between Algeria, China, Turkey, and also Russia has been developed. So with Russia, we've seen that buying and purchasing and testing Moscow weapons. Also, Turkey has been a very a serious constellation with Algeria. And also, what we have to see is that Macron are coming out and saying that despite the fact that Algeria is having much more developed foreign policy, they're still very embarrassed that why is Algeria forgetting Turkey as also a previous colonizer. So actually, Algiers are saying that there's a big difference and distinction between French colonization and Turkish. Because despite the fact that both of them were had invaded Algeria, there's a main difference that although Turkey was also had also invaded Algeria, the main difference is that there was not a very serious conflict and war between these two countries that there's like with France. And what's more, these actually happened because they had Algiers, and the Turkish had one very serious national heroes like Hayreddin Barbarossa, and that was the reason why they actually had much more things in common and less conflict rather than Algeria's and French relations. So that's the reason why actually France is trying to claim out that not only it's their fault that so many people died in Turkey, but also that died in Algeria, but also it's Turkey's fault that there was a kind of a serious conflict in Algeria. But actually we're seeing that Turkish and Algeria's relations are much better than the French because Turkish and Algeria had one very serious common national hero, while with France there was like not any kind of thing in common. And so another thing, important thing which I have to mention is that France also cannot deal with Algerian independence, because during this decent meeting, French President Emmanuel Macron has said that he actually apologized to pro-French Algiers, but not to exactly Algiers. So actually many Algeria many Algeria political analysts actually said that this was like actually emphasizing the fact that French people still cannot deal with the fact that Algeria got independent. And what I really have to say after all this history is that France cannot actually still risk to have bad relations with Algeria because of its very great foreign policy, and that Turkey is also competing with France over the territories across North Africa, and from Libya to the Eastern Mediterranean gas discoveries, gas reserves discoveries, and because of that, France should not risk to have bad relations with Algeria, not only because of the international peace, but also because of some kind of a potential risk of many countries involved in this conflict. And that was the reason why actually some of the news sources actually said that French President Macron actually denied his comments about the bad and political military system in Algeria. So that political military system, which might have been existed in Algeria, is a kind of controversial topic, and we do not have real proof whether this was really existing or not. So it's like not really worth it to have bad relations. And what's more, I'm saying this to France, that for France it's better to have better relations for international peace also, and for avoiding the potential and possible kind of dangers coming from the other foreign partners from Algeria in this conflict. And what's more to Algeria, I have to tell you that please, you actually have to use this political tactic known as neutralism. So neutralism will actually help you to really solve this problem. So despite the fact that you want to have very good relations with the foreign countries like Turkey, China, Russia, you also have to make sure that you also have good relations with France, because this is very important for you right now, for your better economic development, for your better well-being, for your better welfare. It's important for you to use this neutralism to neutrally have good relations with foreign countries and with your pre-occupative and pre-colonizer country known as France also. So this is what I had to say in this video. I hope you like it. If you like it, give a thumbs up and comment down below what you think about this video. And if you want to watch more about international relations and global politics, please subscribe. Thank you. My name is MC Lux, and please continue watching my videos and subscribe it. And thank you for watching me.